They're at opposite ends of the floor of Parliament, but when it comes to Gulf Province, Governor Havila Kavo, government, and Kikori MP Maipakai, opposition, may as well be on the same page. So it should be. This is on Infrastructure Development Funds, IGF, and the position on the Alk Antelope project. Both leaders asked questions and supplementaries on these in Parliament today. And the response, Prime Minister Peter O'Neill.
Prime Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I ask the good governor, thank the good governor for Gulf for his question. These questions are quite detailed, Mr. Speaker, and I will certainly ask the Minister for Petroleum and Energy to present to him a detailed answer in the first available opportunity. But Mr. Speaker, on the issue of the position paper, I understand that the governor and his provincial government has lodged their position paper for the development of Elk and Antelope project to the Department of Petroleum and Energy. Mr. Speaker, to date, as I've explained in this Honourable House, we have not received a development proposal from the project developers, and until at such time we receive that, we will give his position paper due consideration. Mr. Speaker, I will be just arguing and presenting in commitments that I am not able to back up with the development proposal that has been yet to be lodged to government. Mr. Speaker, in respect to the second question on IDG, Mr. Speaker, IDGs are grants that are supposed to be spent for development of infrastructure in the license-based areas, Mr. Speaker. Over time, we've seen since the agreements of many agreements, including the UBSA and LBSA agreements, Mr. Speaker, there's been many disputes between landowners, provincial governments, leaders, and everyone. As a result, some of these matters are now before the courts. Particularly, I think, Mr. Speaker, years I think 2012, 13, 14, and 15, some of our landowners have taken the matter to court, so some of those IDG-related issues are still in court. Except 2016, Mr. Speaker, and that is the funds that we are able to, of course, now disburse that was approved by the Parliament in 2016 budget. Mr. Speaker, I want to again state very clearly that under these agreements, they are at the license-based areas, there are specific projects, whether it will be schools or hospitals or health centers, they are already identified through the agreements. And we will be using, of course, government agencies and government procurement process under the Public Finance Management Act to make sure that these disbursements take place. We have seen over, as the Governor has stated, over 20 years, Mr. Speaker, we've seen many of the misuses that has been happening, where projects, money the government has given the funds, but the projects have not eventuated. We are trying to avoid that, and we are now trying to strictly comply, require the government agencies to comply to the Public Finance Management Act together with the landowners at the license-based areas. Mr. Speaker, in terms of the funds that are related to Gulf Province, of course, if there are acquittals have been done properly, we will release the next batch of funds. There is no stopping of that at all. And third question, Mr. Speaker, you asked about the 22.5%. Mr. Speaker, that is very clearly stipulated in the Oil and Gas Act. We are just following that particular act that was set many years ago, and we will continue to do so. We are, as this Honourable House knows, we are now reviewing the Mining Act itself, and at some stage we will go to reviewing the Oil and Gas Act very soon after we have settled the Mining Act. Fourth question on policy guidelines, Mr. Speaker. Let me say that I will get the Minister to make a detailed statement to this Honourable House so that we can be able to know where the industry is going. But I want to assure this Honourable House that we will do everything possible to protect our country's interest and our landowners and our people's interest. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
You have a supplementary.
Supplementary relation to disbursement of IDG funds. The question is this government in a position to warrant an investigation abuse of those public funds? Thank you.
Prime Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I thank the member for Kikori for that supplementary question. Mr. Speaker, the disbursement of the IDG grants are very specifically mentioned in the agreements that government has signed with the landowners and all the stakeholders. It says that it has to be spent at the license-based areas, which PDL, which is part of the project, and the funds are going to be spent on those license-based areas. What it lacks in the agreements, as far as I understand, Mr. Speaker, is that which agency of government is responsible, whether it will be provincial government or whether it is national departments or whether it's the landowners at the license-based areas. This is where there has been some area of disagreements or area of contention, Mr. Speaker. So the government has taken a position that it will use the provincial governments to try and manage these funds over time. But now we are finding that these funds have a lot of landowners are complaining that the provincial government is not spending those funds in those license-based areas. So the agreement that we've just recently reached with the landowners in PDL 1 and PDL 7 is that we've already set up a special purpose authority in those areas. Like in IDES PDL 1, we've got the IDES Special Purpose Authority. So what we are intending to do, Mr. Speaker, is we will arrange these authorities in those areas to manage those funds under the Public Finance Management Act, and of course go through the procurement process as I stated earlier. Mr. Speaker, there is no cabinet decision, as Member for Kikori has alluded to, that the district development authorities will be managing those funds. Mr. Speaker, let me just say that I don't want a member to confuse the issues. The IDGs will be spent through the special purpose authorities in the PDL areas, and that's it, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much.
Honourable members.
The Prime Minister Peter O'Neill during question time in Parliament today. That's been PNG Tonight. Thank you for your company. We'll have another edition at the same time tomorrow. I'm John Higgins. Good night.